back marker, and it was Crosby who went the right way, and he's managed to hit the front. So it's Harrison Crosby then in front now from Sullivan Mounsey, who's going to have to try and remount his assault from second position. He's running wider around the eternal top bend that leads into the S's. It tightens up here, and Crosby it is who holds position as they come through the left-right, and we have a fall for Sullivan Mounsey, who was giving it everything to get back on the tail of Harrison Crosby, and he's just come down and flipped it, and Mounsey then obviously down on the deck with the early race leader now out of contention for the race victory, and Harrison Crosby, the new race leader. Crosby had already made it through. Mounsey was trying to recapture the position, just coming through the S's and onto the Simpson Straight and losing it, and that's given, well, the others in the top four obviously an opportunity to be promoted into the podium positions, with Harrison Crosby now leading by over 7 seconds from Jamie Woodcock in second position. Orlando Phillips almost a second back in third, and Ethan Sparks also separated from Phillips by a sizable margin. So Orlando Phillips, by working his way through the field from 7th and up to 4th, has ended up moving his way back into a podium position and on the tail of Jamie Woodcock. In terms of the championship battle, it's second and third positions that are key for the moment. Jamie Woodcock and Orlando Phillips, the top two in the championship in that order, separated by 9 points coming into the second weekend of the campaign, and at the moment they're separated by less than a second. Crosby is away and gone out in front, over 7 seconds clear. The race is for second, Woodcock versus Phillips. The gap still pretty tight between those two as they try to work their way through lap traffic, and that's what caused the position changes up front, or certainly facilitated them for Harrison Crosby, who still leads away with a 55.9, his personal best, 57.4 his lap last time around. He's now so comfortable that he can ease it up as we head on to a red flag situation now. The red flags are out, and that's going to bring a halt to proceedings here.
This is Cool Fab Racing. Live coverage all season on the Cool Fab Racing Facebook page and on the website coolfabracing.com.
Can swing. Though nothing will keep us together. We can beat them forever and ever.
The start line for the second race of the day here at Red Lodge. We're on to the Mini GP 50 category, the top 5 in the current championship standings, all lining up on the front 3 rows of the grid. So we should see some lively action heading down to the first turn, the left-hander. Here we line up then, and off the front row, it's Casey O'Gorman, 75 points out of a possible 75, the race winner in all 3 races in the opening round at Llandow. Alongside him, Corey Stainer, currently second in the championship, 2 second places and a 4th position in the second race in South Wales. He sits on 53 points, a point ahead of Evan Belford, who's 3rd on the grid. So the top 3 in the championship lining up in the top 3 positions on the grid. Belford has Bailey Stewart-Campbell alongside him. What a performance it was from Bailey Stewart-Campbell on the 99 bike in qualifying. Currently 10th in the championship point standings on 20 after a non-scoring race in the 3rd race of the weekend at the opening round. But a brilliant 4th position in qualifying gives him an opportunity to make back some of that lost ground. The 3rd row of the grid, the 4th and 5th position riders in the current championship standings. Finn Smart, who sits 4th on 40 championship points, and Sandy Horn, who sits 5th on 33. So the challenge for these riders is to try and get on terms with Casey O'Gorman as quickly as possible before he continues to stretch away his championship lead. He's managed to get pole position by almost a second in qualifying. And now it's just a question of whether Corey Stainer or any of the others can give him a run for his money in the first race of the weekend here at Red Lodge in the Mini GP 50 category. The riders watching then for the lights. And we're underway. Poor start from P6, and Sandy Horn's got away very poorly there with a lot of lift off the line, and that's going to have cost a few positions. The top 2 breaking clear and away together. Casey O'Gorman and Corey Stainer, just as they did in the opening round in Llandow, are renewing their duel, renewing their rivalry as they go side by side into the top bend and through the S's and working their way around the technical section before they come down the Simpson Straight towards Paddock Bend and to the completion of the opening lap. The top 4 now have pretty sizable margins between them. We've got a good battle on though for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th places. It looks as though Bailey Stewart-Campbell has lost a couple of places off the line. It's Casey O'Gorman who leads then at the end of the opening lap by over a second from Corey Stainer. I did suggest that the gap seemed to be emerging quite dramatically. Bailey Stewart-Campbell did indeed lose a position on the opening lap to Finn Smart, as I suggested. Smart is up to 5th position. Sandy Horn managed to recover from what I suggested might have been a poor start, but ended up working out quite well, because by the end of the opening lap, Horn was up to 4th position. So it's O'Gorman from Stainer from Belford, Horn in 4th position, Finn Smart having got the better of Bailey Stewart-Campbell on the opening lap. I just cannot believe the margin that Casey O'Gorman now has at the end of 2 completed laps. The race already is over second. Evan Belford just over 0.2 of a second behind Corey Stainer, but well, they're almost a full length of a straight behind. It's absolutely astonishing the way that the front runners have broken clear. So it's O'Gorman from Stainer from Belford, Horn over a second back from the top 3 battle now, and the podium positions, well, it looks as though it could be O'Gorman, Stainer and Belford. What order they'll finish in remains to be seen, and there's still some good races further down the order as well, with Finn Smart and Bailey Stewart-Campbell and Thomas Gomes all within just over a second of Sandy Horn. It's 2nd and 3rd positions that are tightening up at the moment between Corey Stainer and Evan Belford. This time around though, 0.4 of a second between them, so a little bit of a break. Corey Stainer though 6 seconds behind Casey O'Gorman already after 3 completed laps, and O'Gorman can probably afford to relax up the pace now a little bit and still hold on to the race lead. Bailey Stewart-Campbell under some pressure from Thomas Gomes there further back through the field as they work their way through with a little bit of twitching, just trying to ensure that they hold their respective positions. Gomes is at the back of that group there. The race in terms of second position still pretty close, but there's no movement in it. Corey Stainer 7 seconds back from the leader now. Half a second back from him, it's Evan Belford. A new personal best lap from both of them, Stainer and Belford, from 2nd and 3rd positions. And actually new personal best for Horn, Smart, Bailey Stewart-Campbell all behind. Further back through the field, there's a separate group from 8th position down, and Carys Jones has just got the better of Sean Abel on that last lap to move up into 9th position. They are almost almost side by side once again for second place. Evan Belford is really giving it everything here, but it seems as though Corey Stainer on the last couple of turns of each lap is able to just stretch away his advantage once again and hold on to that second position. Evan Belford certainly showing some turns of pace, and Stainer and Belford again on that last lap setting new personal bests. Finn Smart and Bailey Stewart-Campbell doing the same, so the group is going together, but no doubt about the current race leader. It's Casey O'Gorman. Still second and third positions is where the closest battle is, aside from that fight between Bailey Stewart-Campbell and Thomas Gomes over 6th and 7th places. Finally, the front runner starting to spread out slightly, and Casey O'Gorman is away and gone. 33.3 his personal best so far. That's over 1.5 seconds faster than anyone else has been in this race. The first race of the weekend, seeing Casey O'Gorman continuing as he left off at the opening round in Clandau. He certainly had a weekend where he was challenged. He didn't have it all as easy as he's had it so far in this opening race in the Mini GP 50 category. It's O'Gorman from Stainer, from Belford in third position, half a second back from P2. Sandy Horn in fourth position with a new personal best last lap around, tracked in fifth position by Finn Smart, who gained fractionally but not significantly on that last lap around. Second and third position, Stainer and Belford just coming over the start-finish line once again in those second and third positions, and still that half-second gap is static. Sandy Horn, though, starting to make up some ground from fourth position, and what was a three-way tussle for the podium is starting to develop into a pack of 5 riders now, as Finn Smart tries to go with Sandy Horn and onto the tail of Corey Stainer and Evan Belford in second and third positions. Race leader comfortable, Casey O'Gorman coming over the start-finish line at the end of lap number 8 and just waiting for the rest of the field to start to come through. Starting to lap well through the field now as well, Casey O'Gorman. 10 seconds the gap to Corey Stainer, and Evan Belford tucked in right behind. Finn Smart has dropped over a second back now from Sandy Horn. So the race is for second, third and fourth positions. 3 riders in a group together. They've been completely dropped by Casey O'Gorman, but no change in positions at the moment between Stainer, Belford and Sandy Horn, who's managed to gain on this group while Stainer has seemingly held back Belford. Belford closest he's been throughout this race now to Corey Stainer over second position, and Sandy Horn, as I said, gaining all the time on those two in that race for second, third and fourth positions, and Horn right on the tail now, visibly within 0.3 of a second of Evan Belford. And each time Belford gets back onto the tail of Corey Stainer, he ends up dropping back into the clutches of Sandy Horn. Those 4 now have broken over 3 seconds clear of Finn Smart, who's in a separate race with Bailey Stewart-Campbell on the number 99 bike, who's dropped Thomas Gomes behind him. So in the context of the championship, Casey O'Gorman, the current championship leader, is out in front once again. Corey Stainer, who had 2 runner-up positions in Clandau, looks set for another here as they work their way through the lap traffic around Paddock Bend, and that's not a great place to meet lap traffic. It's held back Sandy Horn slightly, who was on the tail end of that group, and half a second is now the gap between third and fourth positions. It's O'Gorman out in front by almost 13 seconds now from Corey Stainer in P2. Evan Belford in third place. The gaps are remaining static, and it's just a question of whether Belford can find a way through, because he certainly seems to have the pace advantage on Corey Stainer, but can't find any way to capitalise on that advantage. Casey O'Gorman out in front is weaving through lap traffic with some ease now. The second and third place riders just coming over the start-finish line over 13 seconds back. Evan Belford, half a second from Corey Stainer in second. Sandy Horn, half a second further in arrears. Finn Smart, 4 seconds back, and Bailey Stewart-Campbell is going with Finn Smart. Still, there's 2 races in one here. One battle between 3 riders over second place, and a separate battle over fifth position between the number 14 Finn Smart and the 99 Bailey Stewart-Campbell, with Thomas Gomes just waiting for it to all go wrong for the 2 riders up ahead of him, having been dropped earlier on the race by those 2. Still no change then. It does look as though Sandy Horn has dropped visibly back from Corey Stainer and Evan Belford on that last lap. It's still O'Gorman comfortably clear. It does indeed appear that the back rider in that group has dropped back, but it's Evan Belford who has dropped down into fourth position with Sandy Horn coming through. They're trying to exchange positions once again as they go into the top turn. That everlasting left-hander that ends through the S's. Horn holding the inside line. Sensible decision as they cut their way way through the back markers, and Evan Belford up in 4th place, but dropping back at the expense of Sandy Horn. It's been a great race from the number 18 to come through to 3rd position. Now has Horn got an answer to Corey Stainer, who sits in P2. That's the first major overtake of the race. Sandy Horn getting the better of Evan Belford on lap number 12. They're now 13 laps into the race. We're on lap number 14 and heading down towards the finish. It's O'Gorman in front, Corey Stainer in 2nd position, over 16 seconds back. O'Gorman has put in a masterclass in this one to head well clear into the closing stages. Corey Stainer in 2nd position, then Sandy Horn in 3rd. Has Horn got the pace advantage to be able to go after Corey Stainer now? The half a second, more or less, was what was gained last lap by Horn versus Stainer. We'll see if it's a similar situation as they come over the line this time around, with back markers once again in play. Again, Sandy Horn gaining in about half a second on Corey Stainer, and the gaps come down from 1.5 seconds between the pair to little more than half a second between Stainer in 2nd place and Sandy Horn in 3rd. It's O'Gorman in front, Stainer in 2nd, Horn in 3rd, Belford in 4th position. Bailey Stewart Campbell has got the better of Finn Smart, so that's a long enduring battle between Bailey Stewart Campbell, who had to make up some positions on the grid, also has to make up some positions in the championship this weekend, having come through into 10th position after the opening round of the season in Clandow. We're now into the final lap with Casey O'Gorman well clear and out in front. The rest of the pack filtering through. Corey Stainer in 2nd position, Sandy Horn then in 3rd, Evan Belford in 4th position, and Bailey Stewart Campbell less than a second ahead of Finn Smart. The checkered flag now falling for Casey O'Gorman, who was well clear. The remainder of the field working their way through still, and 2nd and 3rd positions are still at the top end of the circuit, fighting it out. But it looks as though Corey Stainer is going to come home end of Sandy Horn, and Evan Belford